Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're tackling a problem that might look simple on the surface, but has some really interesting details. It's called fraction to recurring decimal. We'll break it down step by step, so let's get started. Alright, here's the problem. We're given two integers, a numerator and a denominator, representing a fraction. Our job is to convert this fraction into a string. So for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. 2 divided by 1 is just 2. Simple enough, right? But there's a twist. Here's the tricky part. What if the fraction results in a repeating decimal? Like 4 divided by 333. The result is 0.012, 012, and so on forever. The problem asks us to find that repeating part and put it inside parentheses. So that's our main challenge. How do we detect a repeating cycle? The key insight here is to think back to how we'd solve this by hand. We'd use long division. We'd find the integer part, get the remainder, then add a 0 to the remainder, and divide again to get the next decimal digit. We'll just teach our program to do exactly that. So what's the magic signal that tells us a repeat is happening? It's the remainder. As we do our long division, we keep getting new remainders. The very instant we get a remainder that we've already encountered, we know we're in a loop. The sequence of digits we generated since the last time we saw that remainder is our repeating part. To keep track of the remainders, a hash map is the perfect tool. We can use the remainder as the key, and the value will be the position in our result string where we first saw that remainder. This way, when we find a repeat, we'll know exactly where to insert the opening parenthesis. Okay, let's start coding this. First, the easy edge case. If the numerator is 0, the answer is just 0. Done. Next, let's figure out the sign. If one number is negative but not the other, the result will be negative. We'll add a minus sign to our result, and then we can just work with the positive absolute values of the numbers from here on out. It makes the math much simpler. Next up is the integer part, the number before the decimal point. That's just a simple integer division. We calculate it, add it to our result string, and then get the remainder. If that remainder is 0, amazing. It means the fraction is a whole number, and we can just return the result right away. Now for the core of the algorithm. If we have a remainder, we add a decimal point. We create our hash map to store remainders. Then we start a loop that keeps going, as long as the remainder isn't 0. Inside the loop, we first check, have we seen this remainder before? If we have, we've found our cycle. We use the map to find the position where the cycle started, insert our parentheses, and we're done. If it's a new remainder, we store it in our map with the current position. Then, we do the long division step, multiply the remainder by 10, find the next digit, and calculate the new remainder. And here's the complete code. It follows the exact logic we just walked through. Handle the sign, calculate the integer part, and then loop through the fractional part using a map to detect cycles. Finally, we join all the pieces of our result list into a single string and return it. So how efficient is this? The time complexity is order of d, where d is the value of the denominator. This is because the number of possible unique remainders when dividing by d is at most d minus 1. Once we've seen that many, we must have entered a cycle. For the same reason, the space complexity is also order of d, as our hash map could potentially store all of those unique remainders. So to wrap up, what are the big ideas here? First, when you're stuck, think about how you'd solve the problem by hand. Simulating long division was the key. Second, the hash map is a go-to tool for detecting cycles or repeated states in a sequence. And finally, always handle your edge cases, like signs and zeros up front. It makes the core, complex part of the algorithm cleaner and easier to write. If you enjoyed this problem and want to keep practicing, the learning doesn't have to stop here. I've organized all my video solutions into handy playlists. Whether you're looking to grind through more Leetcode easy, medium, or hard problems, or you want to master a specific topic like sliding window or dynamic programming, I've got a playlist for you. It's the perfect way to focus your study sessions. Go to the Playlist tab and find a playlist that fits your goals. Hope this Leetcode solution breakdown made sense. If it helped, give that like button a click, maybe subscribe for more, or drop a comment if you have questions. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you know straight away when I upload a video, because I upload videos daily. This channel doesn't make any money from sponsorships or ads yet, so if you're feeling generous, there's always the Boba Fund. Keep coding and I'll catch you in the next one.